Elise.
Great.
I will begin again then. Hi, everyone. I'm Elise Shapiro, and I'm the Executive Director of NAAS. And I would like to welcome Megan Groom from NYAS, the New York Academy of Sciences. A brief bio about Megan is Megan Groom, PhD, is Senior Vice President of Education at NYAS, where she manages a strategic portfolio of global education programs that spans primary school through early stage faculty education programs. She is an adjunct assistant professor at SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry and has been the principal investigator and co-investigator on several NSF grants. Megan?
Yeah, thank you so much, Elise, and thank you for having us today. So I'm here with my colleague, Caitlin Green, who is our program manager for our virtual programs, and she's really the point person for our junior academy programs, and we'll make sure everybody has our contact information. So just to talk a little bit about the New York Academy of Sciences, since we're all state and regional academies, the New York Academy of Sciences is over 200 years old. We are here in New York City, but we have a global membership of scientists that cross disciplines, sectors, generations, and cultures. Primarily what we do is scientific convenings, awards, and publications, but Caitlin and I have the distinct pleasure of working with our members to provide educational experiences. Here in New York City, we work with about 100 schools and after-school programs every year. And then also through our virtual communities where we serve kids from over 100 countries. So our education programs are really powered by our membership, and we're really proud and pleased that they are able to dedicate something like 3 million hours of their time over the past 10 years to our educational outreach programs. And we really believe that this type of outreach is within the job description of scientists, and work really hard to make sure that it is a fun, engaging, and incredible learning experience for the scientists, as well as the kids who are engaged in our programs. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our junior academy. Our junior academy, like many junior academies, goes back, a couple of generations and used to be a program where we placed kids in research labs here in New York City. In about 2014, we reconstituted the Junior Academy as an online community of young people working together to solve open innovation challenges. And what we've done is we've built a platform that I'll show you. It's a collaboration platform. And we work with sponsors to create these open innovation challenges. So these are real scientific problems that we have worked with both our sort of science team as well as our sponsors to be able to scope into answerable questions and kind of open source these opportunities for kids to work on them. So the research experience that we're trying to create for these kids is something where they're working in teams, but they're working on a real scientific problem. And they're also working with a scientist if they choose to have one. So our junior academy really is trying to not recreate the experiences that a kid might have in a lab, but is really trying to take those essences of what kids need in terms of succeeding in science and creating a virtual opportunity to close the opportunity, virtual opportunity that closes that particular opportunity gap. So the way the Junior Academy works is kids who are interested in science and love science. So we're not talking about exceptional students that go to magnet schools. We're talking about kids who love science or who are interested in science. They apply to the program. And the main requirements are that, again, they love science and they have a basic proficiency in English. We ask them to provide a parental consent form, and then they go through our application process. Once they are accepted into the program, then we open our community, and then they're given what I think of as a shopping period each semester where we tell them about the challenges that they're able to work on. We do have some orientation activities, and I'm going to just ask Caitlin to just give us a quick overview of those orientation activities, because I know they change every semester and I want to have the most up-to-date information.
Yeah, so the orientation, for the Junior Academy starts with talking about onboarding the students onto Launchpad. So they go through an application process where they fill out an application, we go through an application review, and then they're onboarded onto the Launchpad system, so onto the Launchpad platform. And when they're on the Launchpad platform, they are oriented to the resource library. So that talks about the different challenges that are going to be available to them for that semester. And then they are in a kickoff week, so what we call a kickoff week. So the kickoff week kind of kicks off the semester, introduces everybody to the challenges. They are able to go to the different activities that are planned throughout the week. Typically, it starts with a welcome session. It's usually, they're only about an hour. Each of these sessions are only slated for an hour. And there are activities throughout the week. So first it is the welcome orientation, where to find things, where to go onto Launchpad, where to start and think about teams. A lot of times there are different sessions throughout the week that students can attend if they're interested in finding out more about the challenges that are available on Launchpad. So we have expert talks. That is where one of the members of our team interviews and allows students to ask questions to an expert in the field that has to do with the innovation challenge, so that they can learn a little bit more about that topic or about that field. And then there are some get to know you sessions. We have what we call community leaders on the platform who are assigned to each of the innovation challenges to kind of track and ensure that students know where they're going and monitoring everything that happens on Launchpad. So there's one per challenge. And then we usually have some different activities, kind of depending on either if it's fall or spring. Spring is a little bit lighter. Fall has a little bit more to the kickoff week. So sometimes we have past winners come on. That's typically in the fall, and they present their winning solution to their innovation challenge, and then also take questions from new students so that they can get kind of a student perspective, a peer-to-peer perspective of how to go about these solving these issues and completing one of the innovation challenges. So that's kind of the kickoff week and how we orient students.
Yeah. So what we want to make sure the kids can do is get an opportunity to learn how the platform works, build community, and then also really get a chance to understand why these open innovation challenges are interesting. So I'll give you an example. A couple years ago, we had one on the diversification of the electrical system. And I really didn't understand why this was a particularly interesting topic. So what we did was we had a couple of experts come in and talk about how important it is to make sure that if you can draw from solar, if you can draw from wind, if you can draw from fossil, all of these different places that you can draw energy from, what an actual scientific challenge that was to be able to manage all of those different flows of electricity. And by having the experts come and talk about why that was an interesting challenge, we essentially are giving the kids like a hard sell as to why they should pick this challenge over the other challenges. So within this shopping period, kids are exposed to the 3 or 4 different challenges that we're running for the semester. They're meeting their peers, and then they're also learning how to use the system. Typically, the challenges that the kids work on are kind of span a couple different topics. We do pick challenges that are quite broad. This past semester, we worked on water. There was a water challenge, a healthy snacks challenge where kids had to redesign or design a healthy snack. Caitlin, what were the other two? Oh, cybersecurity and I always forget the other one. And urban gardens, right? So how do you grow food in a small footprint? And what kids do is they go through this orientation week, and then we have team formation, which is where they get to basically put up like on a bulletin board an idea that they're interested in pursuing, and other kids can opt into their team. So that team formation period is really important. And kids who participate in the Junior Academy have the opportunity to work with kids from all over the world. And we take this cross-cultural collaboration really seriously. So while you might sort of go, oh gosh, group projects are the absolute worst, it turns out that the way that we do group projects are one of the highlights for what kids get out of this work. So we really teach them how to find good teammates for them and also how to work together as a team. So that team formation period happens, and then they start working on these different challenge topics, and they go through the semester doing a research and explore phase, and then they go through sort of a prototyping phase and a revision phase. And then finally, they come up with their solution to that particular challenge, and they turn in kind of a final deliverable. Along the way, those challenges are quite structured and scaffolded. They have the community leaders that they work with, and then they also have their scientists who they're working with. And then we have expert talks throughout the semester. In the end, what they come out with is sort of a final deliverable. For some kids, like, they're literally building a urban garden. And for other kids, they're coming up with a research project where they've gathered some data, done some interviews, stuff like that. So we really expect kids to approach these problems from many different angles and come up with many different types of solutions. And that negotiation amongst the group is actually what's really key, and one of the main things that the scientist provides for them. So each semester, kids can come in and they opt into what challenge they want to do, and they can stay in the Junior Academy from whenever they enter, which can be as early as age 13 through when they turn 18 years old. So people can stay in for multiple years. Sometimes kids just come in for one semester, but I'll say the highlights of the program really are that kids get an experience choosing what they want to work on. Sometimes kids pick topics that are just completely random and aren't that connected to the challenge, but other kids might want to do them, and they're really pursuing their own ideas and getting the resources that they need. But often kids come in, you could have 6 different kids with 6 different ideas of how they want to redesign a healthy snack using cricket flour. Kids are obsessed with cricket flour. And so they all know that they want to work on this particular issue, but they have to negotiate amongst themselves in terms of how they're going to approach the problem. So they come in, they get to choose what it is that they want to work on. They have that agency, but then they also have the structure and the support to figure out how to proceed with this particular research project. So from the evaluation perspective, we know that kids expand their content knowledge, they learn new content, but they also get to apply that content in a way that's actionable to them and that is applied. And then we also know that they build those really important skills. I was just reading the World Economic Forum's top 10 skills that kids are going to need. And I think we hit 9 out of the 10 of those skills. And our evaluations show that kids are really building those power skills or those soft skills, as well as the ability to learn and apply new content in a way that allows them to practice different types of problem solving. Typically, the kids that come into our program, like I said, represent about 100 different countries. The kids can be from sort of superstar stellar magnet schools all the way. Our most sort of favorite type of kids to serve are kids who love science but are in just a comprehensive high school. So we think it's really important that we can provide those opportunities if you don't have a science club, if you don't have a regular research class within your school, or you don't have access to a lab. We think this is a great first opportunity for kids to get those type of experiences. And not only do they get the skills and they get that content knowledge, but they also come out of the program with friends, dare I say, friends and peers, people that they can then become collaborators with, and they come out with mentors who can give them recommendations, who can support them going forward. So we're really looking for those key skills, the friends, the collaborators for the future, and then those connections to the scientific community as we move forward. One of the things that we would love to be able to do, and I'm happy to answer questions, but one of the things we'd love to be able to do is push the recruitment materials that we have out through the different state and regional academies, so that for academies who don't already have existing junior academies, this is a great opportunity to engage kids within your community. And what we can do is in the future, we could talk about creating other communities of on Launchpad, create other communities within, let's say, the AJAS group, or just within the different state and regional academies. We support the Junior Academy of Sweden. We've supported the Junior Academy of Egypt. We have all sorts of junior academies that we support. So that's something we could build towards in the future. So I'll stop there and see if anybody has any questions, and then I'll do a very quick tour of Launchpad just so you can see what we're talking about.
I have a general question. As the students are shopping for challenges or how to work Launchpad, is that live or is that is that something that's on demand?
It's both. So we do have, because this is a 24/7 program. So we have kids in probably every time zone. We are trying to match kids up based on those time zones. And we do have these things. We'll do like an 8 a.m. and a 9 p.m. But then we also have a library of explainers so that kids can also go in and view those things. Most of the time, though, kids are going to ask those questions. So we have a customer service type setup as well for us to be able to message people directly in the platform. And then we also know that the kids who are returning, like who have done challenges before, they can also be very helpful. Amanda, I just saw you dropped a question in the chat. Yeah, we could get it out through NSTA. I actually was just thinking about, we haven't gotten it out through NSTA. We've typically filled up our recruitment. We have more applications than we can accept typically. So this is something where we need to invest a little bit more in our scalability before we go really big. The program is free to kids, and I will say that we are working on some materials that would help kids submit this as an independent study, help homeschool parents find this as a resource, and also for kids who wanted to do this as like an IB diploma project, something like that too. So we're also trying to come up with a couple of templates for kids to do that. But typically we have sort of an oversubscription to the program, and we're working on some issues of scaling and automation to address that. The other thing I should say is that we take our student privacy and student safety extremely seriously. So any one who's under 18 has gone through an application process, including parental consent forms, and any adult who is on the platform has gone through a background check, interviews, that sort of stuff with us.
Thank you.
So I think just for next steps, what I can do is just very briefly show Launchpad. You may have to give me the ability to share my screen. Yeah, if you could just let me share my screen. Thank you. So you, Elise, you're sharing your screen. Oh, that's me. See, Elise, can you let me share? Let's see. No.
If you click on the pins in Megan's, the blue box in her corner and in where those little dots are, you should make her, if you make her a co-host, she can then share her screen. But at least you probably have to stop sharing your screen first.
There we go. Great. Can everybody see my screen? You should be able to see hands all coming together, and it's very colorful. People see my screen? Great. So this is Launchpad. It's a proprietary platform that we have. You can see this is me. This is my profile. These are all of the different communities that I'm a part of. Kids can be a part of many different communities. They could be part of the Junior Academy, but they could also be part of, let's say, the Cornerstone Initiative, which is a big project we have in Rwanda. This is my profile, and here I would be able to fill out anything about me, my skills and interests. And then I don't have any projects, but for kids that are active, they have projects here. Our challenges are, right now, this is one of our open challenges. This platform is designed to be used by kids who have generationally old computing devices, whether it's mobile or whether it's a desktop. We know that most of the kids are using this kind of 50-50. Mobile versus desktop. And it's also a very light platform. This is used by kids who have very, very little access to data. So I'm talking about the kid who's sitting outside the library with their old cell phone, drawing down a cell signal from their library, or only have like 2 hours in the computer lab after school. That's who this program is set up for. That's how light this platform is. This is our Green School, Green Homes, Green Community platform that we're running right now in Kigali. And you can see these challenges, but we have our community leaders. Here's Jean Dadu, he is our community leader there. And here's one of the projects that he's working on for Green Schools. So he is a mentor, and here's the team members. But these challenges go back, I think, about 10 years now. And kids can just click on one of these cards. If they're in the challenge, then they have all of this information. And Elise, you were asking about the resources that they have. So we have our resource library. Again, these are just links that they can click through. We're working to turn these into online little classes that they can take. But again, these are set up for kids who don't have a lot of streaming support. Each challenge also has a discussion board, and these are just old school discussion boards. And you can drop into these different communities. This one is a Spanish community that we used to run. It's not active anymore. The people is a search function that we have. Here is Aston Z. You can see he's looking for a team, and these are some of the projects that he's worked on over time. He has not been in the Junior Academy for a while. This is an older challenge, so he's part of our alumni network. I could, if I wanted to, message him. We have a messaging system within the platform, and each challenge opens up into the different projects. So each projects are associated with each challenge. So as I go into one of these and I want to start it up, then I'm able to start a project. And then these are the kids who are in the project. So Micah is the team lead. And these are the other kids who are in the challenge with them. I'm behind the login wall, but they have these team tools. So there's messaging, video conferencing, and Google Drives that they have. And then here is their status bar for how they can, see what they've turned in. And then they also have a private team space. Some of them use the team space, some of them don't. So for each of the challenges, the kids can start their projects, and then you can go and see all of the different projects. You have to be logged in to be able to see this. Here's an example of one of our green schools. Here is one of our mentors, and she is actually mentoring a lot of projects. And she is not just, she probably started, she started on our forestry challenge, which is interesting. So she's actually mentored all of these different challenges. And my guess is that she's one of our teachers in Kigali. who started last year and is now hooked and wants to help mentor all of these teams. So here's just like a very quick tour. We have an event section. There's not going to be anything up there. This is our wrap-up section. Caitlin, am I leaving anything out? I think this is just like a really basic overview of Launchpad.
Yeah, I think just the resources too, like the resources tab, it has a lot of different, like this is where, you know, when you link to the resource library, it ends up in the resources tab. We link it just for ease of use, but there are some other, you know, resources that we have. There's an FAQ, there are the dates for the semester, and it's usually broken down via the programs that we have on Launchpad.
Yep. So I can also share with the group our like a little PowerPoint that we have that's like an overview of Launchpad as well. So that is our very quick introduction. We would love for the different academies to send the recruitment materials out to their students, to their membership. We also are accepting applications for mentors, which we can share. But we think this would be a great opportunity for all of us to come together and create a potentially complementary experience to NYAS, and something that we can really close the opportunity gap as academies of science for the different students who we currently aren't reaching through our traditional programs.
Megan, I have a question. Once the students are done their project, what happens then? Does a team of scientists review it? What happens after they're done?
Yeah, so the kids turn in their projects and we have an internal round of judging, and then we send 8, 10, 12 to external judges. And then we have teams of distinction, and then we have teams that are runners up and finalists. And those are winners, sorry, the kids who who are winners get scholarships. We have different education programs that we provide scholarships for. We feature the different teams in social media posts, and we try to create speaking engagements and stuff like that for them. And we support them. Sometimes they come up with their own things, and we support them in doing that as well. We are looking to revise that. It is traditional that for open innovation challenges, you do have prizes, and we're looking to really expand that spotlight for kids who participate. Anybody who completes the program gets a badge and a certificate of completion, and then they become a member of the academy. I think they get a student membership to the academy as well. So it's a way for us to grow our youngest membership categories.
Thank you.
Yes, Kimberly, I can send a write-up, and I'll have Amanda and Elise, maybe you could, I don't have the listserv for this group, we can forward all the recruitment materials to everybody. And we're also happy to, I'll drop my email in the chat so that you have it. But just feel free to shoot me.
Yeah, we should post those handouts online because Megan, you've sent us all the materials, and we could put those on our website, load those right with the announcement for this event. And Kimberly, I'll forward it to you right now, the email from a couple of days ago we have from them with all the materials.
Yep. Yeah, and we would love to get, again, this is a great opportunity for rural students. This is a great opportunity for kids who really want to do this type of enrichment, but don't have a good starting point. So it's really a great way for kids to get started doing mentored research. Even though it's not a traditional way of doing it, it's a great way for kids to build their resume and start to build that community out. I think it's a great program for rural students, but just because it's so easily accessible. And I'll say English, you do have to turn in assignments in English, but you're able to use whatever language you want on the platform. So we do see a lot of different languages, and the platform can get used in Spanish as well.
Very good. Does anyone have any additional questions?
I was wondering, Megan, you were talking about the deliverables and you're talking about the judging, and I'm wondering if the students get to present anything to each other. It sounds like there isn't really, like, is there something in real time where they do that, or what does that look like?
I'll give the sort of the short answer, and then I'll let Caitlin give a slightly longer answer. So the teams who are the top teams are assigned communication coaches, and they go and they work with those communication coaches to create presentations of their work. And then they do present those to the incoming class. So that's one of the things that we like to do, but that's only like, 18 or it's like 36 kids. Caitlin, any update on that, like real-time presentation stuff? I don't think we
Yeah,
had that.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, so we typically, what Megan said, we have a communication coach, basically like extra mentoring for those teams that have, gone through the internal and external judging and have received very high scores. And so it's kind of like an extra incentive to those teams or to students in general. And then what we do is we have them present, and it's either can be recorded or live. During the fall kickoff week. So everybody from either the fall and spring cohort, we usually do cohorts of a year. And then those teams from the fall and the spring are able to work through the summer, work with a communication coach, and then present their work to incoming students and other students who want to participate. Partners come to the events. It's part of that kickoff week. So they are able, and then students are also asked or can ask questions to those winning teams, and are able to kind of interact with them and kind of get some advice. There's been some really amazing advice that students have given to other students, and so it's really wonderful to see and to kind of bolster that community.
But I think one of the issues that we have, Amanda, is because, when it's 6 o'clock our time, it's the middle of the night, and we'll do something that's at 8 o'clock, and we have kids where we know it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're like, do your parents know you're awake doing science? So we do, take that into account. We also take into account that kids have pretty limited bandwidth often. So if we had groupings of kids, let's say we had, this group, we brought all of these junior academies together, and it was just the US time zones, we would be able to do a lot more synchronous stuff. It's just that when it's this global population and the limited bandwidth, it's hard to do that live stuff. So, but there's no reason we couldn't, we just, in the current configuration, we don't do it that much.
Are there any other questions? If not, I will thank Caitlin and Megan for their time. I will also put all of the materials on our website. Plus, I will be doing a little e-newsletter tomorrow to all of the academies nationwide, and the links will be in there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out for us. We're in the recruitment push right now. And Elise, I will send you the link for the mentor recruitment as well. Caitlin just put her email in the chat as well. So thank you so much. It's really great to connect with this group. And it's a really wonderful community to be a part of.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.